Hi, welcome to Health 101. I'm Dr. Michelle, a board-certified physician, bringing this house call to you. I am so happy to have attorney Denise L with us, who practices family law in the Atlanta area. Hey Denise, how are you doing?
How are you doing, Dr. Michelle?
I'm fine. Thanks for coming. Listen, what's family law?
Family law is how the law affects any portion of a family unit. It could be a divorce, child support, child custody, an action for legitimation. Anytime the law impacts your family, it falls within the arena of family law.
And how long have you been practicing family law?
I've been practicing family law for approximately 29 years.
Wow! Oh my goodness. Now, tell us what prenuptials are. We all want to know about it. Are they just for rich people?
They are certainly not just for rich people. Prenuptial agreements are extremely important, and I would recommend them to anyone that is getting married. Not simply to protect existing assets, but to allow you the opportunity to discuss with your future spouse how money will be spent, how money will be saved or handled during the course of your marriage. And the reason I recommend it is because I would say, this is a non-statistical answer, but I would say that the majority of divorces are caused because of parties' disagreement with regard to how to spend money, how to save money, how to handle money within the body of their family unit. But when you talk about something and come to certain agreements prior to marriage, prior to the money coming into play, then most of the time people are happy to comply with that which they have already agreed to.
So Denise, let me see if I get this straight. A prenuptial agreement is a contract between two people about how they will do certain things. It starts before they get married, but pertains to the marriage. Is that right?
That is accurate. A prenuptial agreement is a contractual agreement that two parties enter into prior to marriage. In that prenuptial agreement, they discuss specific assets that they may already have and how those assets will be handled after the marriage. Quite often it's because they're protecting those assets and being very clear that those assets or income derived from those assets should not be considered to be marital property in the event that there's a divorce. But in addition thereto, it is an opportunity for people to make decisions, if they so desire, about what they will do about money that comes into the marriage after the marriage, whether it comes into one party or the other party, and how those monies will be handled. An example could be that the parties could simply agree that each party will contribute a certain percentage of his or her income on a monthly basis to the household. And then they could also agree that another percentage of their income would then be the sole property of that party. And they can be very, very elaborate if they so desire. They can talk about the fact that if monies are placed in separate accounts, those monies remain the separate property of the individual placing it in that account. And if monies are placed in a joint account during the course of the marriage, that property, in fact, would become marital property and subject to equitable distribution if the parties were to be divorced. They can even talk about what's fair, what's equitable. They can say it's 50-50. They could say it's 20-80. It would be their decision. And any prenuptial agreement that's entered into by two adults who are consenting and have the legal capacity to contract is generally upheld unless it's unfair, fundamentally unfair. The court finds that the people entering into the contract at that time didn't have capacity or ability to enter into that agreement for some reason or another.
Now, Denise, let me ask you, in the event of a divorce, how do you safeguard your children through the process?
Well, I think that one of the most important things that parents can do when contemplating divorce is talk to their children and get psychiatric or psychological help if necessary. Children feel divorces in a different way than adults do. And although I don't have a PhD or an MD in psychiatry, I do understand that it severely impacts their lives. Even amicable divorces impact their lives, and parents must be cognizant of that. Don't talk negatively to your children about your spouse under any set of circumstances, because children quite often derive their own sense of self from the way they see their parents and the way their parents see each other. And utilize resources that are available to you. Sometimes there are school counselors that you can talk to. You can certainly go into the mental health field and talk with people about how you help children cope with divorce. Here in the Georgia area, we do have a class that adults are required to attend if they're getting divorced, and it deals with coping with divorce when there are children involved. I would certainly advocate going to that class, but more than that, I would advocate talking to professionals who can get individual knowledge about you and your children and can help you get through the process. And please remember, it's not just important that you be nice during the divorce, but after the divorce, after other parties are remarried. Remember, a child's vision of him or herself has a lot to do with how he sees his father or his mother.
Now, what are 3 things that everyone should know about divorce?
It's a very, very difficult process that can be manageable, that you can get through, and that you can actually come out of the process relatively healthy if you're cognizant of how you behave during the course of the process. And it's emotional and it's difficult, and we say that from the very beginning. But if you remain logical, if you remember what's really important to you, and that may be your children's health, it may be your own mental health, and if you're willing to sit down and behave in a rational and reasonable manner, then I think that you'll be able to get through divorce. So it's a process that you have to work on. And it's something that you need to seek the professionals in the appropriate fields to assist you in working on.
Thank you so much. This is such helpful information. We're very pleased to have you today. Information is important, to know what you face and what the facts are. So thank you so much for coming. This is great.
Thank you so much.
This is Dr. Michelle with Health 101. We've been talking with attorney Denise Allen, who's in the Atlanta area, been practicing family law, and has a wealth of information. Listen, we're glad you joined us. See you next time.